England and the Barbars, folks. Belated talk about this game. 52 points to 21. I've only just watched this, and it's like midnight here in New Zealand on Tuesday. So much after the fact, though, apologies for that. They didn't have a broadcaster for this game in New Zealand, but unfortunately, some legendary person managed to upload it to YouTube. The game hasn't been taken down yet, so if you haven't seen the game, go watch it. There's certainly a few talking points in this one. I won't go through them all in any length of detail because I do want to go to bed very shortly. But what can you say about this one? 55,000 fans there, a nice looking day at Twickenham. That's pretty pleasing. Obviously, England without all of their Leicester and Saracens guys who were playing in the Premiership final the same weekend. A bunch of guys also are injured, so a bit of an experimental lineup from them. The Barbars, more or less, a French squad side with a few Georgians and Will Skelton and Bottier and so on in their lineup, George Cruz. So, yeah, a bit of a... similar to what Rassie Erasmus did when he had the Barbarians a few years ago. It's essentially kind of a semi-build-up game for some of these French squad players as well. So it's a good chance for both sides to, to have a bit of fun and try some stuff. Eddie said in his post-match that he didn't think much of the stuff they tried went well, and that's probably pretty true. Not very good at running the ball out of their own 22. Not very good at the breakdown, which was a bit concerning. The Barbars boys got a lot of pay there. You can see on my whiteboard that it's 3 tries to 8 if you want to count them. I mean, Cokanasiga, May and Smith get the 3 for England. Smith, although he didn't have his best day with the boot, he missed. And it was weird that they were going for penalties in this game because it's not really Barbars' style. But the Barbars missed their first penalty. Smith got one, missed one, and then got another one. Plus, he missed all his conversions. So, it was... did he miss 2 penalties or just 1 penalty and 2 conversions? Either way, he missed a few goal kicks, 3 conversions. So, not his finest day with the boot, but he did have a hand in the tries, right? He scores one. I think his show and go sets up the Cokanasiga one, and then his wide pass to Jonny May sets up May's one. So Marcus Smith, as I said, not his best day with the boot, but he still showed us what he can do on attack with his distribution and his ability to take the ball to the line, draw some carriers, draw some tackles and whatnot. So that was pleasing. Maybe not so pleasing for England was, as I said, the breakdown work and just some of the defensive stuff. Like the Barbars guys were getting over the advantage line pretty easily. The England guys were falling off a few tackles. It was a bit soft. I know it's only a Barbars game, but essentially for some of these fringe guys, you're playing for an England call-up, and maybe some of these performances left a few guys out. Maybe some of them managed to play their way in. Penalty try. That one, Jonny May got yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. Ollie Vaughan with an intercept, I think it was on Randall, but Randall still made the squad the next day. Ollie Vaughan, I haven't seen him play that much since he missed the whole Six Nations injured, but he was moving, waiting for a support runner that never arrived. He just decided to go himself. Peno got a couple. One of them was an intercept, I think, on Atkinson, who didn't make the England squad. One of his was a pretty fine finish in the corner. Kuyu got one, Carbonell got one, Spring got one, and Hastoy got one. There were some proper skills like Legarak's kick over the England defence on the goal line to Carbonell. That was like proper thing of beauty stuff. You need to go back and watch that one. It was it was very tidy. It was a kick pass for the Hastoy one for the last one. It was really, just have a crack and see what happens. And for the Barbars, despite the fact I haven't even mentioned that Skelton got a red card at the end of the first, despite the fact they got 14 men, you wouldn't have really known it to watch the game. It was very, very bizarre. So, Skelton got red carded for a high kind of shoulder to the head of Schickerling, who'd come on for Collier after like 28 minutes and a tactical change. So it was a very bizarre set of circumstances all around. Because generally, I feel like when you watch the Barbars games, the refereeing team tries to let stuff go if they can. But this game, with some messy scrum resets, a lot of TMO, was kind of more officiated by the book, I thought, compared to some of the previous ones we've seen. But as I said, with coaches who are in charge of their national teams as well, picking more like a serious team, with half of these guys being, part of the French squad or on the fringe of the French squad, it kind of makes more sense that they take it a bit more Again, I say seriously. I had a look at the stats at the end of the game, and I should mention George Cruz was doing some goal kicking as well, which is bonkers. He does a back heel over the posts, which is, again, something you never thought you'd see, but maybe only in the Barbars game. England have 22 turnovers conceded, 13. Like, honestly, that's partly the Barbars guys winning ball at the breakdown, and that's partly England's line-out not being great. That's partly England just not having good hands, just not looking that slick. So a little bit concerning there. The Barbars guys kicked it really well. Rucks lost. There's the number, 7-3. So that's pretty bad from the England boys. Like, that's not the kind of thing that you should not be performing well, even in a Barbars game, right? Like, I can understand, running it out from your own 22 in those situations in a test match, you're probably not going to do it. But the breakdown stuff shouldn't really be affected, right? England's tackling percentage, 83%, man. Like, that's lower than most of the Super Rugby teams had this season, so pretty poor. Obviously, in a Barbars game, it's going to be lower than normal, but the Barbars tackled at 88%, so don't know, man. Curry, 15 carries, busy shift. Eddie seemed pretty happy with him in the press conference at the end of the game. Marcus Smith, 6 defenders beaten. Try and sets up a couple others. Bevan Rodd, 11 from 12 tackles, busy on defence, but did concede a couple of penalties. The Barbars also managed to win a penalty at scrum time, which is, encouraging for them. Peno, 5 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks. He was busy. Tonga, 14 carries, bunch of run meters, defenders beaten, 12 from 12 tackles. The guy was everywhere until he got substituted. Ligarak comes off the bench and has 3 try assists. Not bad. Not a bad way to impress the national team coach. So, like I said, folks, I wouldn't be reading a heck of a lot into it, but that's still a pretty bad scoreline. So, well done to the Barbars boys. 14 men for more than half the game, and they managed to put 52 points on England. Pretty tidy stuff. As I said, if you're going to impress Fabien Gaultier, a lot of these guys, I think, will have done so. For Eddie, I think maybe this game was a chance for him to really make a call, if he hadn't done so already, on some of the guys who were borderline. Do you put Atkinson in the squad, or do you call up Fraser Dingwall, that kind of thing? Like, maybe this is the game that that made that decision a bit easier for him. But you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. As I said, it is a bit belated. Sorry about that, but if you do want to watch the game, it is live on YouTube. At least it hasn't been taken down the last I saw. You guys have any thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later. Off to bed.